Hello friends, welcome to part 3 of myocardial infarction or heart attack. So friends who have not yet visited to part 1st and 2nd of this video, so I request you to please visit to the part 1st and 2nd so that you can correlate with the part 3rd of this video. So before starting the video, we will study medical management, surgical management and the nursing management in the part 3rd of this video. So let's start the video. So as a nurse, as a nursing officer, after the doctor prescriptions, we will give these medicines to the patient. So first there is nitroglycerin. So nitroglycerin belongs to the class of nitrates. Okay, it belongs to the class of nitrates. So when this drug is given to the patient, when there is episodes of angina, okay, when there is severe chest pain is seen in the patient, then this drug is given. It is a vasodilator. It means it can dilate both arteries and both veins. Okay, so mainly we are studying the coronary artery here. Okay, so it will dilate the coronary arteries so that blood could flow easily and our myocardial cells and tissue get the oxygen and nutrition. So nitroglycerin is given by oral route or by intravenous route. So by oral route it is given through the sublingual pathway, means we will put the tablet below the tongue of the patient. Okay, the patient who have got angina attack, means chest pain attack, we will put the tablet below his tongue. Okay, and as a nurse we will instruct the patient that please don't crush, chew or break the tablet. So nitroglycerin, from nitroglycerin nitric oxide is released. Okay, nitric oxide is released which will dilate the blood vessels so the blood could flow easily to the myocardial cell and tissue. This nitroglycerin is given in cardiovascular disease as well as in anal fissure patient. Okay, what it will do in anal fissure? It will increase the pathway of blood. It will increase the flow of blood so that that area will get healed quickly. Next there is morphine sulfate. So what is morphine sulfate? It is an opioid agonist. Okay, it is an opioid medicine which is taken from the Papaver somniferous plant. Okay, poppy plant. It is taken from the poppy plant, indicated for the management of pain. So this morphine sulfate is also given to the patient for the pain management. It could be severe acute pain or a chronic pain which is not responsive to non-narcotic drugs. Okay, when there is other analgesics which is not relieving the pain of patient, when other analgesic is not relieving the pain of patient, then at last we give morphine sulfate to the patient. So it is a which drug? It is a narcotic drug, so it could be given into the limited amount, okay, and for a short period of time by the doctor prescription, because if a high dose is given to the patient, then it could be very dangerous, means the patient get physically dependence on that drug. Okay, the patient get addicted to the narcotics drugs, and in some cases there could be death of the patient also. So it is given by the doctor prescription only. Okay, next is thrombolytics. Thrombo means a clot. So what it is doing? It is lighting, means it is busting, it is dissolving the clot. So clot busting or dissolving drug. Okay, thrombolytics means the drug which is dissolving and busting the clot. So how it is busting the clot? Actually what it do? It will break the fibrin, it will break the protein bond. Okay, it will break the protein bond which is helping in the clotting of blood, it will break that fibrin bond. So there are mainly 3 types of thrombolytics. One, there is TPA. TPA means transplasmogen activator. Okay, it is a quickly given drug. When there is severe case, when there is immediate case, patient comes in the hospital with pulmonary embolism or a stroke or a cardiovascular emboli, then in the immediate case we give TPA injection to the patient for dissolving the clot. TPA means transplasmogen activator. And other forms of drugs are like streptokinase, urokinase, LD-place and reteplase. Next, there is anticoagulant. Anti means which is stopping the coagulation process. Okay, it is stopping the coagulation process. Drugs which prevent blood coagulation. It is stopping the coagulation of blood, but not has any effect on previously formed thrombus. The thrombus which is previously formed, it does not have any effect on that thrombus. It will only, what it will do, it will only stop the coagulation process. Okay, so examples are heparin and warfarin. Sometimes it is also called as blood thinner drug. Next is cholesterol lowering drug, or we could say that lipid lowering drug. The name itself signifies it is lowering the cholesterol. So these drugs may help to reduce LDL cholesterol, means low density lipoproteins. These are lowering the low density lipoprotein, which is also known as bad cholesterol. Okay, so it is stopping the formation of LDL cholesterol and triglycerides. Example, atorvastatin and lovastatin. So this drug also help in increasing the amount of HDL cholesterol, which is a good cholesterol for our body. And one more thing this drug do, that it will stuck that plaque into one form only. Okay, suppose this is coronary artery and this is a plaque. So cholesterol lowering drugs also act in stopping of this plaque at one place only. Okay, so it help in the prevention of emboli. Okay, it help in the stopping of this clot. It will stuck this clot at one place only, because if the clot will get break, then it will be converted into the emboli, and patient could suffer from pulmonary embolism, venous thrombosis and from the stroke condition. So it helps in the stucking of the plaque into one area only. Next, there is calcium channel blocker. The name signifies it is blocking something. So what is it is blocking? It is blocking the calcium from entering into the cells. Okay, it is blocking the calcium from entering into the smooth muscles or vessels of the heart. Okay, so there are many ions in our body like potassium, sodium and calcium. So what calcium do in our body? It do contraction in the smooth muscles and in the heart. Okay, so what calcium channel blockers is doing? It is blocking the calcium from entering into the cell. It is blocking its influx. It is blocking its influx into the cell. So then if it will block the calcium from entering the cell, then what will happen? The contraction process will not happen. Okay, and the blood vessel will remain relaxed. Okay, relax blood vessels and increase supply of blood and oxygen. Okay, and then our myocardial cells and tissue will get proper amount of blood and oxygen. Example, amlodipine, nifedipine and nimodipine. So next medicine we are going to see, that is beta blockers. It means these medicines are blocking something. So what they are blocking? They are blocking the catecholamines. It means they are blocking the hormones to get attached to the receptor site. So mainly which hormones they are blocking? They are blocking adrenaline and noradrenaline, which are also known as epinephrine or norepinephrine. So mainly receptors are present in our whole body. Okay, so mainly we are discussing here about the heart. So we'll talk about the heart receptors. So beta 1 receptors are mainly present in the heart and the kidney. There are 3 types of beta receptors like beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3. So beta 1 receptors are present at the pacemaker site of the heart. Okay, so these hormone will block. Okay, these will block the effect of hormones which are known as adrenaline or noradrenaline. So what does this hormone do in our body? Okay, they increase the sympathetic activity in the body, like heart rate, heart workload, cardiac output, and automatically they will decrease the size of all the blood vessels like arteries and veins, due to which there will be increase in the BP. Okay, so we are blocking this hormone to get attached to the receptor site. So if we will block these hormones from attaching to the receptor site, then what will happen? It will reduce the heart workload. Okay, heart workload will get reduced blood pressure, BP will get down or reduced by blocking the effect of hormones adrenaline and noradrenaline, epinephrine or norepinephrine, from attaching to their target site. Okay, so where is the target site? It is in the beta 1 receptor at the heart pacemaker site. So you are blocking these hormones because they are increasing the sympathetic activity in the body. So mainly these drugs ends with LOL, like metoprolol, atenolol, propranolol and bisoprolol. So next medicine is antiplatelets. So what actually platelets do in our body? Okay, so these platelets are present in our blood. So whenever there is external or internal bleeding, so our body have its own mechanism. It will stop that bleeding process. Okay, so by stopping the bleeding process, it can form clot. Okay, it can form clot over there. So this clot is very dangerous for the coronary artery disease patient. Okay, suppose if that plaque get ruptured and there is bleeding happens, so what the platelet will get? The platelet will get aggregated to that place and can form clot. Okay, so they can obstruct the whole artery. So we are giving antiplatelet medicine, okay, for preventing the platelet aggregation. Okay, so antiplatelet drugs prevent platelets from sticking together. We are preventing platelets from sticking together, and due to which there will be decrease in the formation of clot or emboli. So example, that is aspirin. So aspirin is given in low dose because in high dose it can increase the chances of hemorrhage in the patient. Next, that is ACE inhibitors. Inhibitors means they are inhibiting, they are preventing something. So what actually they are preventing? They are preventing the ACE enzyme. Okay, they are preventing the ACE enzyme. This enzyme is mainly released from the lungs. So actually what happens when there is low blood volume or when there is low blood in our body, then what happens? From the liver, angiotensin first is released. Okay, from the liver, angiotensin is released. Not first, it is only angiotensin. So what will happen then? From the kidney, renin get released. So renin convert angiotensin into angiotensin first. Okay, it will convert angiotensin into angiotensin first. Then from the lungs, an enzyme is released which is known as ACE. Main role is played by this ACE enzyme. That's why we are inhibiting it. Okay, that's why we are inhibiting it. So main role is placed by ACE. This ACE enzyme will convert, okay, it will convert ACE, okay, it will convert angiotensin first into the second. Okay, then angiotensin second, what it will do in our body? It will increase all the sympathetic activity. It will constrict all the blood vessels, due to which there is increase in BP. And one more thing it do, okay, this angiotensin second, okay, it increase sympathetic activity as well as it will release the adrenaline hormone from the adrenal gland. Okay, so what adrenaline hormone will do? It will increase, it will go to the kidney. Okay, this adrenaline hormone will go to the kidney and will retain the water and sodium from the kidney. Okay, it will restrict the kidney to let the flow of sodium and water out. Okay, it will retain the sodium and water. So again it will increase the BP. So actually we are inhibiting the hormone ACE, which will convert angiotensin first into the second. Okay, so angiotensin, the full form of ACE is angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, are medication that slow the activity of enzyme. So which enzyme we are restricting? That is ACE, which decrease production of angiotensin second, so that angiotensin second does not get released, and due to which what will happen as a result, blood vessels dilate, blood vessels will remain dilated and BP is reduced. So the medicines which are ending with the pril word, okay, like benzopril, captopril, enalapril. And at the last we can give oxygen therapy to the patient, because there is death or necrosis of myocardial cells, due to which there could be low oxygen saturation in the patient also. So by doctor prescription or according to the patient need, we can give oxygen therapy to the patient. So next we are going to discuss with the surgical management of myocardial infarction. Okay, so by the angiography diagnosis, the doctor have checked out the location of the blocked area. So the first surgery performed, that is PTCA. PTCA means percutaneous transluminal coronary angioplasty. So what is actually done in this procedure? So it is a minimally invasive process which is performed through the groin area from the femoral artery, and it could be also performed through the radial artery. So mostly it is done through the femoral artery. So from the femoral artery, the doctor insert a flexible guide wire to the coronary artery region, okay, by the aorta. So through the guide wire he insert a flexible catheter to that region, and in that flexible catheter he insert a dye. Okay, a dye is injected in that region so that we can check out the blockage area in the coronary artery. So suppose this is the coronary artery. Okay, so it is a coronary artery. So in this coronary artery, at this region here, it is a atherosclerosis formation or it is a plaque formation. So in the catheter tip, okay, the catheter which is placed in the coronary artery, in that tip of the catheter there is a balloon inserted. Okay, so sometimes it is also known as balloon angioplasty. Okay, sometimes it is also known as balloon angioplasty. So while performing this procedure, several X-ray images are taken, which is known as fluoroscopy. So what is fluoroscopy? Fluoroscopy means several X-ray pictures are taken of this coronary artery where the procedure is being performed. So in this blocked coronary artery, the doctor inflate and deflate the balloon several times. So when this balloon is inflated and deflated several times, it will press out this atherosclerosis at the corner. Okay, it will press out this atherosclerosis at the corner. So by the pressure of this balloon, this atheroma get stuck. Okay, this atheroma get subside. This atheroma gets subside to the walls of this coronary artery. Now this blood can flow easily to the myocardial cells and tissue. So it is a minimally invasive procedure which is performed through radial or either through femoral artery. So a catheter, in a catheter tip, balloon is inserted. Okay, so this balloon will be inflated and it will compress the plaque to the corner of this coronary artery. But this balloon angioplasty was not successful because this plaque can return after 2-3 months again. Okay, this plaque could return after 2-3 months again. So now with the balloon angioplasty, doctor put a stent over there. At the balloon, the doctor put the stent over there. So what is a stent? A stent is a metal mesh wire. Stent is a metal mesh wire. So next surgery is coronary artery stent. So there are many types of stent available in the market, like a metal stent, like a gold plated stent, and The stunt which are drug eluting stunt, okay, the medicine dipped stunt are also there, and biodegradable stunt are also available nowadays. So what is happen in this process? That in this process, at the balloon region, okay, at the balloon region, the doctor will put the wire mesh at this region, okay, he will place this wire mesh at this plaque region. So this mesh will expand in the coronary artery and will widen the area of this coronary artery so that the blood could flow easily. So it is an expandable metal mesh. Okay, so this mesh is implanted at the coronary artery region. It will permanently placed at that region where there is blocked site. Okay, so it is a biodegradable stent which is placed in that region. So next surgery is coronary atherectomy. Atheroma means plaque formation, atherosclerosis. Tomy means removal of that plaque. Okay, so what happens in this process? The plaque which is deposited at the coronary artery region, okay, so this plaque which is deposited in the coronary artery region have been cut out, have been removed out, have been shaved out. Okay, so it is used to cut, shave and remove the plaque from the coronary artery. So this plaque have been completely removed. Suppose this plaque is at only one direction, it is unidirectional, it is at one direction. So the first excisional cutter we take, that is called excisional atherectomy. It is also known as directional atherectomy because it is present in only one direction. So this cutter will remove this plaque from that area. Other is laser ablation. Through the laser waves, okay, through the laser waves, this plaque is destroyed or this plaque is burned out from that region. So through the laser waves, this plaque is removed or this plaque is burnt out. Next is orbital, a high spinning device which will spin at a faster rate and it will cut out that plaque completely from that region. And other is rotational, in a circular motion the plaque have been cut out. Next we are going to discuss the CABG. CABG means coronary artery bypass graft. Graft means removing of something or anything we remove and place it to other area, that is known as graft. The same process is happening in our heart. So CABG is a surgical procedure in which the vein and artery which are taken from the patient on body, like saphenous vein from the legs, radial artery from the hand and the mammary arteries from the left and right mammary area, okay, from the chest area. So why we are rerouting the area? Suppose this is a coronary artery, okay, so here it is a atherosclerosis plaque formation. So surgeon have taken patient on arterial vein from his body, okay, from the patient body. So what he does, he places that vein or artery to other area, means we are changing the path because here it is occlusion, here it is obstruction, so blood will not able to flow from this path. So we are rerouting the path of blood, means we are changing the path of blood. So one end of that artery is placed in the aorta and the other end is placed in front of the occlusion area. So other end is placed at the occlusion area. So during bypass surgery, a blood vessel, okay, so blood vessel is taken from leg like saphenous vein and from the chest mammary arteries like left and right mammary artery is used to reroute, means we are rerouting the area because here it is blockage around a segment of a coronary artery that is narrowed or atherosclerosis. Okay, so mainly CABG surgery are of two types. One is off pump, means when the heart have been stopped. So when the heart have been stopped, so how our body will get the blood, how our vital organs will get the blood? So it is given through the heart lung machine. Okay, in off pump procedure the heart have been stopped and blood supply to the entire body is supplied from the heart lung machine. So it is off pump procedure. And one is surgery that is known as on pump, means heart is beating but only a single segment, okay, only a single segment where there is occlusion, okay, where there is occlusion, only that segment have been stopped by an instrument, and the entire heart entire heart is still beating. Only that region we have stopped, where we are placing this graft, where we are placing the new artery, only that region have been stopped. Okay, so it is CABG. Next is our EECP, means enhanced external counter pulsation, means we are enhancing the speed of the heart, means we are enhancing the power of the heart by supplying it more and more blood. Okay, so it is a natural process, as God has given us such a beautiful body which can heal itself. So what happened in this process? In this process, the patient is given instruction that he lie down on a cardiac table, and in that table, from his thighs to his legs, a big blood pressure cuff is wrapped around his legs and thighs, and that blood pressure cuff will do the inflation and deflation. Okay, that blood pressure cuff will do the inflation and deflation when the heart is in the resting position. Okay, when the heart will be in the resting position, then that cuff will inflate and it will pump out the blood to the heart region. Okay, so more oxygen, more nutrition and more blood will reach to the heart. So what will happen? The other channels of the heart will open, that are known as collateral channels. Okay, so we have natural coronary artery in our heart. Okay, actually we have natural collateral arteries in our heart, but they are at inactive form, means they are at dormant stage. So by that external cuff, we are supplying more blood to the heart. So what will happen due to the blood, more blood rich oxygen? It will generate this collateral arteries. It will open up this collateral artery in the patient without any surgery, without any invasive procedure. So that's why it is called as natural bypass method. Next, we are going to see the nursing management or nursing intervention for the myocardial infarcted patient. So first, nurse should assess severity of pain. So what severity of pain the patient is having? As a nursing officer, we have to assess that pain by the help of a rating scale. Next, bed rest help reduce myocardial oxygen consumption. Already the cells of tissue are necrosed, are dead. So maximum bed rest is given to the patient. Administer oxygen therapy 3 to 4 liters per minute as prescribed. Whatever the rate of oxygen flow the doctor have prescribed, we have to give it through the nasal cannula, and the rate of oxygen will be 3 to 4 liters per minute. Provide comfortable position to the patient. Comfortable position is very important in the heart attack patient. Like we can give the Fowler position to the patient, which is between the angle of 60 to 90 degree. Okay, that angle is between 60 to 90 degree. In that position we can give semi Fowler position or high Fowler position according to the patient need. Next, administer drugs, nitroglycerin, morphine, thrombolytics as prescribed. Whatever the timing, whatever the route, we have to give that medicine properly to the patient by the doctor's order, okay, and by following the nursing rights. Anti-embolism stockings can help prevent thrombophlebitis. Due to the gravity, the pooling of blood is at the down of the feet. So to prevent the clot formation, to prevent the embolism formation, we have to give anti-embolism stockings to the patient. Assess and record blood pressure, pulse and respiration frequently. We have to maintain all the vital signs of the patient frequently at a frequent time interval. Okay, and a proper ECG graph is taken while the patient had entered the emergency room within a time frame of 10 minutes. Next, provide emotional support to the patient. We can give psychological support to the patient, and we can instruct the patient to take in heart healthy diet. And a brisk walking of 30 minutes is necessary in day-to-day life activities. And we have to instruct the patient that he should cut off all the bad habits like high cholesterol, triglycerides, smoking and alcohol habit. We have to assist and teach the patient. So friends, if you like this video, so please share, subscribe to this channel for more upcoming videos. Thank you.